So what comes to your mind if you hear or see the word egoist? Just keep your thought for later. The society we are being brought up by is teaching us that to be selflessness is the right thing. So it rewards selflessness. But what quietly shames is the self-focus. Who out of you can say, I am an egoist? Okay, that will be a good 15 minutes. Thank you. I am the first one to say, I am an egoist in the healthiest way. My name is Violetta Małek. I am a very proud mom of two. I'm quite successful businesswoman. I'm a very happy, independent woman, and also a global business mentor. But on top of that comes the fact that I am the great lover to people, of people, and dogs. And not long ago, I just realized that my life, which I have for myself and my closest people around me, is actually close with the Paulo Coelho words. When you say yes to others, make sure you are not saying no to yourself. And that brings my memory back from the time I was 7 or 8 years old. My mom bought me quite a nice, colorful stationery items, so I was very happy putting them into my backpack. Went to school, and my best friend was so excited, playing around with those items, and I said, have one, take one. So I said yes to my friend, and yes to myself. My mom asked me, why did you do that? Mom, I want to share my happiness. So similar story we can find while traveling by plane. When we have the instruction of putting the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And this is not because we are a bad egoist. This is because when we take care of ourselves first, then we can take of others. In this particular case, while we are traveling, of children, disabled, or elderly, those dependent on us. We can't take care of them if we don't take care of ourselves first. So why I am so passionate about healthy egoism and how it compares to the ugly one or to the harmful one, if we want to be polite, and how it compares to narcissism. You probably all remember the guy from the Wolf of Wall Street. He was a character. He was controlling, he was manipulating. He wanted to be all the time in the spotlight, like myself today. And he was not looking for the results of his actions. He didn't care about other people. He didn't care about family. All he cared about is to be in power. He wanted to be the one and treating everyone else in the worst possible way. So that is always leading to controlling others, which is not what I'm going to talk about later. The other one, which I really like, is the Devil Wears Prada. Andy Sachs, we all remember, she was developing her career. She was so focused on developing her career that she forgot about friends, about family, and most importantly, about her boyfriend. Because what? She was focused on herself, despite the fact that the world around her was forgotten. So she made others feel used or even dismissed. And there she comes. The one who knows her strengths, who knows what she needs, who knows what her closest friends, her family needs. And she, in a perfect way, is building up boundaries. I'm not going to ask you who is this, because I am going to tell you. That's the Erin Brockovich, who was taking care of herself first, taking care of her children, and in this particular story, also on those dependent on the case she was working on. So she was ready to build relationships with respect. And she was able and very successful on building boundaries. So summarizing, we have one who craves for power. We have other one who is losing herself in the career, and the one who owns her worth. And this is the one we should focus and look at her, how to be strong. And that's important, without stepping on others, without the expense of others. Very often we have the situation in our life that we don't really feel. Is it egoism, narcissism, or the ego is the healthy one, or the ugly one? So one day, a few years back, I had an assistant. She was developing as an analyst, and she was really good. She was doing great analysis, reports. She was just very happy to do it in the perfect way, like complex analysis, like on time and in really good quality. So the other departments realized that she's so great, so they came and asked her to do reports for them. And she, you know what? She was very happy. She was very happy because she was appreciated. She felt she is needed, and she accepted. And one day I asked her to my office and said, that's good, that's great, but this is going in the wrong direction. Because there will be time or one day when you realize that you said yes to others and no to yourself, because you are not going to be able to deliver great report on time with great quality. You will be actually getting worse and worse, and you are not going to be satisfied anymore. Another example from the workshop I had recently also on the healthy egoism. The lady was sharing with us that on Saturday morning, she discovered on her phone missed call at 6 a.m. from the boss, Saturday morning. She was panicking. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know, shall I write back? Shall I call back? Or maybe I write an email. She spent the whole weekend like asking herself, and I'm not going to mention that that's stressful situation, until Monday when everything got clear. That's the example of not setting up boundaries, not telling to the boss, and the boss also should know how to react when no one is answering. So that's the case when there are no boundaries and no respectful communication between ourselves, not just the way boss myself, but also myself to the boss. How many times you go to the spa or to the gym, or maybe for the Chardonnay with friends, and inside you feel, I should have supposed to spend the time with my children, with my partner, with my family, my mom, they need me. No. You are in charge of your needs. This is your right, not the luxury. One lady from the same workshop also shared, because they were very keen to share the situations, said that when she comes back home after the whole day at work with the heavy shopping bags. No one cared actually at home that she arrived. They only cared about the dinner, when the dinner is going to be on the table. And why? Because she did not build the boundaries. She did not tell them what she needs, that when she comes home, she needs few minutes to rest so they can help her with the bags. She didn't teach children or partner what she needs and how she should be treated. And this one is my favorite. Agreeing to everything just to avoid conflict. Don't do this. The conflict will not go away. We put it on the shelf, but it will not go away. It's better to build the boundaries, respect the aggressor. Otherwise, when you agree, the conflict is avoided for 1 minute, and you say big no to yourself. Let's have a look at the 3 pillars of egoism, which I already, via stories, explained. That's a self-awareness. We need to know who we are. We need to know what we like. We need to know what we need. We need to know how to position ourselves at home, in the office, wherever we go. That helps to build the boundaries. And the one thing which is very, very important, and I want to underline, teach others how to treat you. No one will treat you the way you want if you don't tell them, you don't teach them. They will treat you the best way they know. And self-care, I already mentioned. Take care of yourself. Have the energy restored. Have the spa, gym. This is your right, not a luxury. I know that building boundaries, it's easier said than done, but there is one technique consisting of 2 elements. One is iMessage, and the other one is communication strategy with respect. Let's see at the technique iMessage. The technique assumes 4 elements. When, so you describe the situation. Then you name your emotion. I feel. Then you say, because it's important for you. Why it's important for you. And then you say, I suggest, I request, I propose, whatever the situation is. Very often at the meetings, we are being interrupted. Instead of accusatory way saying, don't interrupt me at the meetings, we can say, when I'm speaking at the meetings and I am being interrupted, I feel ignored because I want to contribute to the discussion. Let's agree and let people finish what they want to say. And that's an example of how we should structure the iMessage, which is very, very powerful. Because what? Because we name our emotion without the accusatory way. You can feel angry, overwhelmed, or even uncomfortable. Name it. Name it. That's very important in the successful communication. Then when you do it and you communicate with care, without the guilt, with no apologies for setting up the boundaries, that's where the success lies. And this is example of saying it this way. And this is very powerful due to the fact that you actually underline that I know this is important for you, and I'm really happy you asked me for help, but I can't, or however, I don't have time, or I don't feel like at this moment because I need to recharge. Let's agree another time. And that's exactly what the analyst did. So she could continue give others, yes, and without saying big no to herself. Not apologizing for setting boundaries. Please, please, don't wait too long for guilt-free communication, for guilt-free life. Just work on you now for you. The psychologist said that when you work, when you are really self-focused, your life gets better, your career gets better, even from the mental health perspective. You are much better prepared not to get depressed, not to let anxiety come to your life. And when the office surroundings, it enhances resilience. So with no further delay, set the boundaries, because it's an act of love for yourself and others. So I wish you to be a healthy egoist. Be yourself for yourself. Thank you.